Okay, so today we're going to talk about building websites on this site, education.weebly.com. And it is truly awesome. There's a lot of opportunities to do things as an instructor, but also project-wise. We all know that project-based and one to the world learning is where we've been going for the past couple of years. So this will really open up a lot of avenues, especially as English teachers, for authentic publishing. So this video is just kind of going to go over some of the nuts and bolts of getting online and setting up your account, and then also talking about how you can arrange your information and what kinds of things you can use them for. So here we go. So the first thing that you're going to need is email. So as you can see down at the bottom, each email gets you one teacher website and 30 student websites. So if you're smart about it, you can wind up getting yourself 3 different websites and 90 student accounts as well. So if you work with partners, right, and if you do a paired activity, and depending on what age group you work with, all of a sudden your 90 websites become 180. If you do it as in groups, 3 to 4, well, you've just doubled them again. So for mine, basically I use my long form LCPS, philip.campbell@lcps.org, the shorty, P. Campbell, single L, at lcps.org. And then it'll also let you use personal or private email. So my pcampbellteach@aol.com. And yes, I still have an AOL account. I get made fun of all the time. People ask me, you still got the CDs? So there you go. Each one of these will get you a teacher website and 30 student websites as well. Okay, so we're going to talk some about the different designs for your site as a teacher that you can set up. So the first is the one that I kind of ran at the beginning of this year. It's sort of with the one website to rule them all, right? So my first page is my intro to myself as an instructor, my contact information, all the stuff that you would have on your LCPS page through your school's website, or even maybe on your Google Classroom. My page 2 would be my English 11A, which is one of my classes. I'll have videos for mini lessons or novel analysis, and then documents of any of the things that the kids need to complete, from Socratic seminars to study guides to vocabulary, you name it. Same thing follows with page 3. It's my English 11 honors. I do scaffolding between my academic and honors, particularly with the novels, so it's important for me to have different pages. For example, my honors kids would do Gatsby, my academic kids would do Jake Reinvented, right? And so there, once again, the videos and all the resources that go along with whatever we're currently working on in class would be under each page there. So page 4 would be my AP Lang and Comp, which is my third and last prep, and you get the idea of what kinds of things I would put under there as well. So what's great is it puts it in order in terms of newest videos or assignments first, and then works their way back on each individual page. So what's current will always be at the top, but if they need to scroll down, if they've been out, they can scroll down. I do daily videos, or I should say every 2-day videos, because of 8A B-Day schedule, where I'll just recap the lesson. They're not super long videos. They can be anywhere between 3 and 10 minutes, depending on how much I go into detail, but it's just a great way to review. I also highlight things from chapters, so maybe there's concepts that kids are struggling with, and all those go into the videos as well. So it's a great way for remediation, reteaching, keeping up with kids who go on long vacations or are out, for illness or whatever. So I find this to be a really effective method for just being a one-stop shop for all of Mr. Campbell's information, depending on what class you're in. All right, so with each teacher site that you get for each email that you use, you could have one website for each class, and by that I mean prep, right? So let's say I had an English 9, page 1 would be Welcome to English 9. You could have your overview, syllabus, contact information, all right on there. Then I might go to page 2 being my current novel, Glass Castle, right? Videos for analysis of each chapter, assignments, mini lessons if you were highlighting things like symbolism or, inferential information, things like that. Page 3 could be vocab, for example. You could have this week's words, a link maybe to a Quizlet, any activities. You could have, let's say they bombed last week's quiz, so you could have some sort of resource that they need to complete in order to remediate, in order to retake last week's quiz, and you can just have it all right there. What's kind of cool is instead of printing out all these lists or retake packets and things like that, they're just online, and the kids can do it, and they can do it digitally and send it back to you. So that saves a couple of trees, and I'm down with that. Page 4, grammar lessons and activities. You could have videos. They could be self-made videos. There's tons of stuff out on the internet as well. You just kind of be careful that you're using the same terminology as the video, or the video select uses the same terminology that you use in class as an instructor. You can put quizzes on there as well. I know social science does a lot with this. Where they have videos, and the video will stop and you have to take the quiz in order to progress to the next part of the video, and you as an instructor get the scores back. So that's great because that saves you grading time as well. So that's another. So the last approach is one I actually found as I was kind of doing some prep work for The Jungle, and that's the current novel that I'm working on in Lang in English 11 honors. But I found a couple instructors out there on the web that created a website for your current novel or their current novel. So I'm just, going to throw out The Jungle, things that popped into my head if I was going to do this again next year. So I'd have page 1, brief description, author's background. I did a whole little lesson on Upton Sinclair, and I did his background. It's important to know that he was doing an expose for a socialist newspaper, and just sort of all that. Like, I think understanding who the writer is, helps you understand the novel better. Also gives him credibility as well. So when you talk about those kind of things, so I'd have all that, and I could have them. My assignment, my homework could be go to our website for The Jungle, study the first page, the background information, and the background information for the author. You're going to have a quiz on it next class, and now I don't even need a lecture in class, and I can move on to doing cool hands-on things and sort of like more discussion based, as opposed to being that person in the front talking, which I don't really like doing. Then you could have your chapter videos. So kind of like I said earlier, breaking down some of the things that maybe they missed, breaking down anything that might be a little bit more difficult for them to grasp in those videos, but also great summary in case they need to be reminded of some of the things that we talked about. And then you can include questions, like guided reading questions. You can have mini lessons if you want to highlight different things as well from the chapter. I'm doing a Socratic seminar. This book's perfect for it. One of the resources that I use is Does Fiction Have the Power to Sway Politics? It's a New York Times article. It also gets into higher level thinking, and I kind of like have them create their own questions using like the DOQ format. And then last but not least, because I like to do things cross-curricular, I would have some nonfiction, U.S. history connections, and just sort of really bring to life what was significant about this novel in terms of throwing the light on actual practices that were happening in America. I think there's way more to it than the laborers and the food practices. I think also if you take a look at modern credit, obviously, and the trouble that a lot of people are in today, you see that with Jurgis and his family. So I would kind of get into some of that. There's a lot of things that you can branch off with and bring this novel to life in 2019, and that is exactly what I would do with page 4. All right, guys, thanks for watching my video. I did want to kind of hit up a couple of things, just some pros, I guess, or whatever, some positives about using this format. The first is that you can access it anywhere. There's even a mobile version which still allows you access to the videos and all the documents. So for the kid on the go, that's a really great way to approach them. So hey, I know you got soccer practice, you've got a game, you've got to travel 3 hours to Patriot tonight or wherever. You can watch that on the bus, and you can go through the documents and answer the questions, and you can send it to me, and your homework will be done before you even play the first minute of that game. Unlike Google Classroom, parents can watch the videos. So, I mean, yes, you can give parents access. They need to accept the access. I'm not sure that they can still watch the videos. I guess at that point within Google Classroom, either the kid would have to play it for them. But this is just easier. I mean, it's just a whole lot easier. There's no typing in any email addresses. There's no accepting access, as the parent or anything. They just go on like a normal website and it's there. Students can access and download documents. As I said earlier, no more printing things out, which is great, which saves you time. Copiers always seem to be dying. And then last but not least, it's engaging, it's attractive, and it's in a format that they use every day. So they're very familiar with how it works, and there's really no excuse like I couldn't get on it, because unless the entire internet crashes, it's always there. All right, guys, have a great one. I'm going to kick you guys over to the website now. It's Weebly. It's education.weebly.com. All right, and we're gonna go, and you guys are gonna start building websites. It's really quite easy. If you work with any Apple products, it's super user friendly. The toolbar will pop up on the left side, and it does what it says. Like if you want to drop in a video, you drag video over and drop it. It's that great. All right, thanks for listening.